everyone, my name is Jeanette Ramos and I'm the founder and CEO of It Takes a Village Housing. It Takes a Village Housing is a nonprofit organization geared towards helping mothers get the services that they need to raise their children. It's going to provide not only drug treatment services for our mothers, but mentors for our children, home economics for our mothers. This is going to be a one-stop shop that's going to provide for our families. Drugs and alcohol seem to be a big part of our society, and how we eradicate that will be based upon what we do for this population. We're always looking for donations. Help us out with those donations. Anything that you can give would be a great help. We're always looking for beds, we're looking for toiletries, we're looking for money, and anything that you can provide us would be of great help. So if you're willing to provide this population with a second chance at life, check out my website at ittakesavillage1.org, or you can email me at ittakesavillagem@gmail.com. Here's to It Takes a Village Housing, and I look forward to meeting with each and every one of you.
You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Thank you for joining me. Your host is Dominique Rivera, and hopefully the internet will work for us today. I am here in North Carolina in the Appalachian Mountains, and the internet is kind of meh. But anyways, thank you for joining me. You're watching Divine Encounters. This is a TV show where you will not only encounter supernatural stories, but you're going to be illuminated by them, inspired by them. And we are here to share that content with you all by bringing different people on the show every single Wednesday night to share their supernatural experience with you, to expand the way you see the world and to show you that there is much more to the world than meets the eye and the physical senses. And of course, make sure you have your high quality H2O with you. This is going to be an energetic experience. You're going to be shifting your energy by the end of this feed. We're going to enthrall you with a message for the day for the collective, as well as a reading at the end of the show. And as well as our guest is going to absolutely be here and bring in a beautiful message today. So if this is the first time you're watching, make sure you hit that button, subscribe, share. We are here supporting you, and you're supporting us as well. So let's bring our guest on for the evening. And give her some hearts, give her a thumbs up, and share this, because you may just be a blessing for someone else needing to hear this particular message. Hello, thank you for being here. I toast to you, your health, wealth, and prosperity. Yes, get that hydration, girl. So thank you so much for being here. You are an exceptional human being, and we've been chatting for quite some time now, meeting through TikTok land. And so I would love for you to introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about you.
I'm Laurabeth. I'm born and raised in I am like a travel nurse, but my area of study is actually the lab. I went through a spiritual awakening and found out through that course, which I'll talk more about later, of how I became a medium. I do tarot, oracle, remote viewing. I like to specialize in forensic mediumship. I'm defined deceased. I mainly focus on children. I also work with pendulums and spell work.
Wow. A jack of all trades, that's for sure. Does not want to work. Okay, yeah. I don't even know if you could hear me, but
I can hear you.
okay, there we go. So, when you have two powerhouse energy people, just everything stops working. It is what it is. And I look like a wet rat because I was in town and the town is 40 minutes away from the Appalachian Mountains. And I literally ran up that hill, set up this whole this whole studio so we can get here and do this show for you guys. So, yeah. Laurabeth, I like to start off every episode by bringing up the vibe and giving a collective message for the card of the day, which is basically the theme of the midweek. So, to that I say, what's good? All right, so this is the card of the day. I know I normally have two cameras up, but we are just rocking and rolling with this one right now. We have the Queen of Emotions happening. And in tarot, she's technically the Queen of Cups, and her prompt is tentacles of experience. Oh, definitely loving that. All right, so let's check out what the message is for today. It says, rising up from deep within the caverns of the ocean, this queen is connected to all that flows. She that flourishes. Yep, that kind of day. Her watery nature invites you to flow onto portals of self discovery and work with your own waves to grow compassion and passion and to connect back to your truest emotions, all of your emotions. She asks you to seek this alignment so that your actions, words, thoughts, and breaths all be in the rhythm with your true feelings. See yourself as you truly are and feel your essence as you truly feel. This nurturing, caring energy is one that washes away unhealthy attachments and bubbles down through the earth to create foundations of sacred space in relationships. It allows strong empathy without the energetic baggage of taking on other people's stuff, and it breeds intuitive creativity and small pockets of devotional joy. Fall into the Queen's flowing compassion. And the poem says, like the sea, I flow in and out of breath, waiting in the lapping liminality of a heart song. All right. And thank you, Lori Janetta. It's good to see you. Haven't seen you for a while. Okay, so how are you feeling about this card, Laura Beth, the Queen of Emotions?
So definitely agreeing with that. Emotions. Very Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, very stubborn. You mentioned the waves, so us, I guess, being our own person and not allowing our emotions to come through in relationships and our own power as well. And I think that this card is telling us to stand in our power and own our feelings and embrace our inner queen.
Yes, I like that. And excuse my really gross nails. We are working hard here in Mandala Springs. We have a big festival coming up, and we've been tilling the earth and tilling the land. And these hands have been in dirt, y'all. So we are in the earth right now, doing a lot of wonderful things here. Thank you for sharing that, Laura
Yeah.
Beth. That really resonates with me too, in that same way. And connecting to all of your emotions is important. It's very easy to connect to the things that feel good and then just let those things subside that don't feel good, that are harder to process, that are hard to look at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's how I feel about that, anyways.
Agreed.
All right, so we're going to do a mindfulness moment here. If this is your first time watching, the internet's usually not this choppy. I'm working on it. We're getting a new router here. And so the mindfulness moment is just a moment to come back to yourself and to take accountability for what you're feeling in this moment. So from 1 to 10, for all of you at home, ask yourself, how am I feeling? One being this is the least amount of energy, 10, this is the most amount of energy. And then put that in the comment section below. And we'll come back with your best. All right, so how are you feeling right now in this moment?
I am at a 6 right now.
All right,
What
6.
Yeah.
That's good. A little bit above half.
Yeah.
For
Always room for
me,
improvement.
what happened?
I said always room for improvement.
Yes, always room for improvement, for sure. I'm at a 6 as well. We didn't go to bed till 3 in the morning. We were drumming all night, so just mountain life. We had ecstatic dance yesterday, and there was a double birthday here, so everyone was up pretty late. Okay, Lori Janetta is at a 5 today. Robert is at a 6.77. And System Juggalo, I already know who this is. This is Trish for sure. 7, just got done doing a reading for someone. All right. So you are the strongest contender here today.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what we're going to do now is using that queen of emotions, her key words today, we're actually going to embody them in this 1 minute breathing exercise. So you're going to hear a bell, and then I am inviting you to close your eyes. There's no need to look. I will tell you when to open your eyes again. And we're just going to breathe in the key words from this queen and let out what no longer serves us. So you'll hear the bell, get comfortable, and here we go. Eyes are closed. 60 seconds are on the clock. We're going to breathe in the energy of love here in this space. And if you can't find the energy of love, embody the energy of appreciation. Embody the energy of love. Let go of anything that no longer serves you. Breathing in the invitation of emotional intuition and emotional intelligence. Letting go of rigidity and confinements. Breathing in creativity, joy, connection, relationships, self care, and self love. Letting go when no longer serves you. Breathe in this feminine nature. Even if you're a man, you have a feminine nature as well. The sea of emotions, assessing how you truly feel, and sharing your love with others, creating from the heart. Let that go. And just thank yourself in this moment for stopping, taking a break, taking a. I thank you all. Namaste. And you can come back now to center, take a sip of your water if you have it. And now in the comment section below, what are you feeling? And if you felt anything, what did you feel? Did you feel hot, cold, tingling, pressure? Did any memories arise? I know for myself, right when we started this, I started getting a headache. And I know it's probably from not drinking enough water today because we were out in the blazing, scorching heat. Okay, so where are you at, Laurabeth? Did your number change? And if so, did you feel anything?
I went up to an 8. I did feel like both my hands getting cold, and then like my left arm went cold as well, and I felt somebody have their hand on my bare shoulder, and I felt another person actually put a crown on my head. And when I was closing and breathing in to my heart space, I saw like a swirl ring of fire, because what I was releasing was, I felt that it was giving me passion to release those things and on to the next.
Right. On to the next. I like that. Okay, so for myself, I feel like I am also at an 8, even though I'm getting a headache. But I feel grounded. and I feel very, very relaxed. And yeah, I feel complete with saying that. So here we have Lori Gianetta. She is now up to a 7, and she was at a 5. So she went up 2 points in that 1 minute. So good job for Lori Gianetta. She also felt like she was releasing. And I feel that too, as I'm releasing for her. And then Mr. Robert says, as you're thanks, Lori. We're doing helping you out there. I'm feeling overwhelming familiarity with your guest. Oh, okay. Maybe you know each other in a past life. For Robert Brooker.
Didn't sound familiar. I've had a couple lives.
Just a couple.
I've been around.
I've been around the galaxy once or twice. And that is at a 7.77. So he also went up. You went up 1 point, and now we're at 777s, which I think is hilarious. And then System Juggalo says, hot, going up from my feet to the top of my head, out of my head, then a cool calmness, like I jumped into frigid water, and then a calmness of relax. And now I'm at a 5 now. So she actually went down because she got more relaxed.
Oh, she needs a nap.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, she just gave herself a little energy nap in that 1 minute. Interesting. And it's funny because you're saying that you feel like you just jumped in frigid water. Right in front of the building that I'm at, there is a beautiful stream, and we do cold plunges in the morning every single day here. And even in December, they do the cold plunges. And it gets down to 10 degrees here. So I thought that was interesting. Maybe you're picking up on that. All right, so we're here for our supernatural story time. Get the popcorn. Laurabeth has a great story for you guys today. She also says, I do need a nap.
Yes.
I know that's right. So let's jump into that. And we're going to give, right when we come back from this transition, Laurabeth, you're going to have the stage.
All right. So what I'm going to be sharing in this live is I'm going to be sharing my first spiritual awakening, which actually happened on January 1st of 2022. I had just gotten home from work. I was staying in an Airbnb. I traveled for work. I was in Indiana at this time. And I came home. I was going to have a glass of champagne by myself because it was like 11 o'clock. And I was getting, undressed and ready to watch the ball drop in New York. And I think collectively that we noticed that something was off with the ball dropping that year in 2020. But when it dropped, I had a large amount of banging coming from my front door, so much so that it scared me and my dog. So I know that it just wasn't me that heard it. It was my dog as well. So I ran upstairs, called the cops, because I know that the area that I was in, there was fireworks and stuff, and they sounded like they wanted to try to get in. So I ran upstairs and got something to protect myself just in case it was something wicked was to go down. So I called the cops and I was like, hey, can you please have a cop make contact with me because I'm a single female from out of town, and I would just feel safe if I had interaction with the cops. Let me know that I am safe. And they said, yes, Miss Brock, we will. The cop did end up actually coming and making contact with me, but I had an alarm system on my Airbnb, and then I had a door and then a storm door that were both locked. So the banging was coming so hard from the storm door that I heard it through the regular door into the living room. So when I made contact with the cop, I was like, I heard somebody come up and bang aggressively on my storm door. And it had just snowed 6 inches that day. And the cop said, Miss Brock, there's no way that anybody could have knocked on your door because the only footprints leading up to your front yard, let alone the pathway that I took, is mine. And that's when I thought I started losing my mind. And that's when I realized my spiritual journey had started. Is there something you want to say? So after I literally looked at the cop and said, no, that's inaccurate, because I heard somebody, even my dog responded to that. And they were like, well, we'll do a surveillance of the whole area and see if we see anything. But there was no footprints anywhere in my yard other than the officer that made the footpath to my door. Those were his footsteps. Nor was there any in my back or around any of the premises. There was no footprints. It's like, you've got to shit me, sir. I was like, I only had like one glass of champagne. I know I am not drunk. So that's where it started. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just chalk it up to maybe making up something, trying to make myself feel better. So from then on, I started progressively having all of my senses come in at once, like my gut instinct, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling, touching. I was getting everything from scratches on my thighs, necks, shoulders, chests, and arms. I would wake up with black eyes. I would be sleeping and physically have somebody jerk me awake, and it was just me and my dog in this Airbnb. I've had people hug me. I've been slapped in the face. I've vibrated, which I didn't know that I could. I've had my hair pulled, my hair played with, my hair washed in the shower. Like, I was scrubbing my hair and I felt another hand come in and be like, hey girl, you missed a spot. It's like, not today, Satan. No, we ain't doing that. So I've had the covers pulled off of me while in bed. I've had my feet and legs grabbed while in bed. I've had my whole body held down, as well as my feet and legs while in bed. I've had them watch me sleep. I have an alarm system for, like, an alarm clock to wake me up, but it is voice activated, and his name is Jarvis, and I never use him. And all of a sudden, Jarvis is like, what time would you like to set your alarm for? I was like, excuse me? I didn't even have his activation on, but today we're setting alarms. And I would have Siri do the same thing, and my Google Home would be like, hey, what did you say? What command would you like to do? So they were doing things on their own. I have had my food and my dog's food and treats taken away from him. I've had my bottom grabbed. Let's see. When all this happened, I started noticing angel numbers as well. I started getting woke up at 3:33 in the morning every day, and I started noticing that I was getting a lot of, if I was to pick up a patient sample, I would have 5 patient samples. If I was trying to grab like caps to put on my patient samples, I'd have 5, or I'd have synchronicities of 5. Like, I could just put something in my hand and I'd be like, this has happened all day. I know that there's 5 in my hand, and I would pull out 5. Coincidentally, in 2020, I was 35. So my spiritual awakening happened when I was 35. I was seeing 3s and 5s. The 2 numbers both have to do with chaos, conflict, change, and growth. I was not aware that was what was about to happen, and my life changed, and it changed quick. I was also getting sense, which would be in the oddest places, like laying in bed, using the potty, walking up a flight of steps, just standing stagnant somewhere. I have had the smell of old lady perfume, burning electricity, stool, decomp, cinnamon, burnt toast, Mexican food, which I was here for, lilies, roses, and cigarettes. The lilies I got from a guy who I ended up passing over with a mentor at that time that I'm no longer working with. When we crossed him over, I had no idea what was going on, and that was new to me. So to thank me for me crossing him over because he was scared of what the other side was going to be like, that he sent me lilies, and lilies are my favorite flowers. I have had, and then after I started getting the synchronicities and the smells and the touches, I started to see them. I started to see, my first one that I remember, I was in the laundry room, and I had finally came to a realization that this is my life. I've got to figure out how to control it. So I met my first protector, whose name is Jamie. He's an 8-year-old boy from the 1800s. He ran into the laundry room where I was at, grabbed my pants, and started shaking my pants. And I was like, "What's up, baby?" And he was like, "You need to get out of here." Like, okay. So I did. So I came out of the laundry room and then came into the kitchen to the dining room. And all of a sudden, I saw a male about 23 years old go from where I was into my cabinet. I was like, no. You, again, like I said to the no, that is not accurate. And I went and got some sage and called my mentor and cleansed. And I was like, this guy's really angry because he's around. So she helped me figure out what sage was, what Palo Santo was, how to guard my energy, because at this point I was like a neon highlighter to all these spirits that wanted somebody to talk to. And I'm prime example. I'm prime real estate at this point because I have no protection, no guard. I have no idea what's going on. So I did that. It still didn't work. So I had to keep up. So that's when I got familiar with crystals. So I went and got my first crystal, which was a black tourmaline. And I got a Lapedia light because I was having so much anxiety from feeling other people's emotions and not knowing at that time that I needed to cut cords with those energies. And I was cleaning house one day, and I gave my dog a treat, and he was sitting in one spot, had the treat kind of tilted over with both paws, chewing on it. And when I turned back around, the treat was set erect across the room, and my dog was up against the couch like this. And that's when I started getting really comfortable telling them to leave me alone. I got real comfortable talking to myself at that point, because it's okay, you can do it to me, but when it comes to my baby, don't mess with my baby. So I had to start getting really comfortable with yelling. So later that night, I had the windows open because it was snowing. I love cold weather. So I had the windows open, and I was watching TV, and I looked out one of the windows, and it was nighttime, about 9-10 o'clock at night. And I saw a whole person, so white, like it was a white silhouette of a person, but I could tell that it was a African-American man, about 6'2", walked from one side of the backyard into the privacy fence of the next condo. I was like, we're not doing this today. Close that window real quick. Homie's not doing this today. So I ended that situation real quick. So I had to reach out and find out more, because I was in this journey alone, because my mentor ended up not agreeing with some of the stuff that I was having to do to protect myself, because I am Catholic. And I would even pray with my rosary nightly, and I would fall asleep with it on my wrist. And I even started praying to Archangel Michael. And I would wake up the next morning, and my rosary would be on my pillow next to me, off of my arm. And I would see them coming in and out of the closet, poking their head in and out. I finally had to get to the point where, I see you. I'm not messing with you. I see you. Leave me alone. And they would run around my bed just to irritate me, because they know that I now see them because I've made contact with them. And so I ended up finding a girl on TikTok who was playing a singing bowl for the third eye. I was like, okay, I don't know what any of this is. Let me see what's going on. So I listened to it, and I started vibrating, and I asked her what that meant. And she was like, essentially, like, my chakras were waking up, and that I'm feeling the music, and I'm being in tune with it, and something's trying to wake up. I was like, honey, it's already awoken. I'm awoken. I'm here. So I went to the crystal shop, like I said, and bought my black tourmaline and some other crystals. And I ended up getting a pendulum because people were telling me that, oh, well, you're a medium. Excuse me, that you need to possibly get you a pendulum and see if you can connect to your guides and see if to get some guidance on what it is that is bothering you with these entities. So I did. It took me about a couple months to get familiar, not even get familiar, but get comfortable, because coming from a Christian Catholic background, and then trying to possibly play with the pendulum is almost like playing with the what then I would think is being like a Ouija board, witchcraft, or oh, it's not going to go well. So it took me a long time to get comfortable with her, and then I bought my first tarot, which took me about 3 months to even touch, because I again thought that that was going to be frowned upon or fupa, or I was worried about what other people were thinking. At the same time, I was feeling like I was losing my mind because I was seeing things, hearing things, smelling things, tasting things, and didn't have any soundboard really to feel like somebody could understand what I was going through. Um, and it got to the point where I was telling people at work, hey, I'm going to tell you what's going on in case something happens to me. Like, it got to that point. And they were like, oh, we don't believe you. And I was like, well, hey, if you don't believe me, there's a little girl right beside me. She told me that her blood is in the refrigerator. She said she's 4, and the examiner's waiting on her. They're waiting on the examiner to come get her blood to do testing on it. And they were like, whatever. And so the girl was like, well, I'm just going to humor you because I want to prove you wrong. So she went to the refrigerator, got the blood. It was a little 4-year-old girl's blood. I was like, I'm going crazy. I really am. They were like, how did you know that? And I was like, I don't know. I know that there's specimens in there for the morgue to come get and the medical examiner, but I didn't know how old she was. I mean, so I'm going crazy, guys. I am. I'm going crazy. So when I did start working with my pendulum, Flora, she ended up helping me a lot. And she's been there with me through a lot. She helped me because I didn't have anybody who understood what I was going through. Eventually I met Dominique, and she's actually my practitioner now. But before Dominique, I had Flora, and Flora and Dominique have both been my ride or dies. But Flora has saved me in a lot of things that I knew that I didn't need to be in. For example, I went on a trip, and Flora told me not to go. And Dominique, I think that you can remember this. I went to Delaware for a guy, and he had apparently an abusive background, so I got to see it, but left before he got to me. So she's definitely been there for me. She is a fae. All of my deities apparently want to be flower gods and goddesses. So I now have Hermes, and I have Selene, which Hermes is the god of fertility. Flora is the goddess of fertility, and Selene is the goddess of flowers. I may have Flora and Selena mixed up, but they all seem to have to do with fertility. Now I was at this point when I got Flora, I had started feeling comfortable touching cards, but I was only going to do Oracle because I knew that it felt like I didn't earn or know enough about tarot to even touch it. So I didn't feel like I had earned it to touch them, because I felt like they were sacred from all the research that I was doing, that you needed to kind of know what you were doing. So I was doing Oracle cards at this time. So this was 6 months after my awakening. I finally tried to have a grasp on how to cast circles, how to cleanse, how to spiritual bath, how to cut cords, how to protect myself to keep from attachments coming to me and being physically harmed. And I was in Virginia, and I don't know who it was, but I remember having an energy cleansing with Dominique. Again, you may remember this, Dominique. Our first time doing energy work on me, a bee fell from the ceiling, just out of nowhere. Like, I was like, You were like, hey girl, I was like, I'm trying to figure out where this bee came from because it's dead. It's been dead and it just fell from the ceiling. And you were like, well, Apollo liked your offering. I was like, hang on, honey. There's got to be more. So I went out and gave the bumblebee a proper burial. And then the bugs kept coming. I ended up getting 2 dead birds left at my door. I've had feathers upon feathers. I have had some weird birds, or not birds, but bugs. I had a murder hornet left at my front door, which was kind of, I guess, a blessing because they saved me from being stung, and I don't like bugs that fly anyway. I would get cicadians, bumblebees, um, all these other kind of weird birds that look like they came from a nuclear plant. And I had birds, barn swallows, that would swarm me, and there was always either 3 or 5 coming to see me. And then once I kind of got a hang of realizing, okay, I'm gonna do this. I feel like this is my calling, and even though all this weirdness is going on, I'm gonna ride the ride. Here we go. I'm giving my vessel to help other people's vessels, to help people, to be the best version of myself, to help people that are the worst version of themselves. So that is when I felt the calling for mediumship. Like, it just seemed like it came easy for me to tell people what was around them, or who is with them. If they wanted to talk to a loved one that had passed over, it just seemed like it was really easy. And I was like, okay, that's pretty easy. It not really trying to have to grab for anything. It's just coming to me naturally. And my first one that I worked with was a young man that was killed by a drunk driver on the highway. Funny enough, his parents and him lived in Missouri, and he was killed in Arkansas, in the town that I'm from. And he came to me, and she wanted to know how his passing was and if he felt any pain. And when I do my readings, I don't like to sugarcoat it. I mean, if they say that it hurt, that this happened, I think that having that rawness and realness with my people that get readings from me, that it helps them heal more in my eyes. But that's my opinion. Tough love is tough healing. You know what I mean? So, and then that led me on to doing more remote view training with Dominique. And if I have another story, maybe I can come back and tell you about a teen that I did help find remote viewing while I was in Alaska, and he was in Georgia.
I think that would definitely make a fantastic part 2. I wish I had these extra sensory abilities, for real, honestly. You do, and you can learn absolutely how to do this. And I teach this as well. I'm actually on week 3 of Healing of the Angels of the Energy Field, and to develop your clairs, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. And you guys can check me out at oracleofapollo.com or the Oracle of Apollo on Facebook. I've been teaching this for about 11 years now. Laurabeth, so these beautiful humans that are here watching today, the look, they could be from anywhere. If they wanted to get a hold of you and maybe get a reading with you or something, where can they reach you, please?
Well, you can reach me at my email at mediumlaurabeth at gmail.com. On TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I am Medium Laurabeth. I have 2 accounts on TikTok, and I have a page on Facebook. And then I also have a Facebook group where me and a couple other readers go in and do card readings and etc. I think it is called, because I don't know why I made the name so long. It's free and paid Oracle Pendulum Intuitional Mediumship Readings. It's got a person it's a rainbow background and the page is pink, so you can't miss it. But if you would like, you can always reach out to me and I can always send you the link to that group if you are interested. We usually do free readings in my group.
Wonderful. So now you guys know you have somewhere to go and practice. And as well, you guys can check out my TikTok, The Oracle of Apollo. If you're practicing your empathic abilities, I post pretty often there a way you can try to work with them and experience different locations as I'm traveling the world. You can get a feel for literally different places. All right, wonderful. So Laurabeth, there is a question of the day, and this is for you guys at home as well to maybe discuss this amongst yourselves, and or you can share your thoughts here in the comment section below. So let's see what the question of the day is. Alrighty, so the question of the day is, how do we accept things we don't understand? You went through a lot of things that you were not understanding that brought a lot of things to light, a lot of triggers, a lot of emotions. So how can we accept things that we don't understand?
Well, from my personal experience, I was always told, you'll find out. That's not what my OCD and type A personality wants to hear. I'm always looking for answers. I need something. I need validation. But I think ultimately, after going through this for so long, that there's a lesson. Have faith and have trust, and know that you may not understand it now, but when you go back, you'll already know the answer. There's no understanding. You already understood.
What about you guys at home? What tips, tricks, or messages do you want to give to other people about this question? How do you accept things that you haven't understood? All right, I think that's a great answer. Thank you so much for that. So we're going to be jumping into, wait, we have some statements here. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, also, System Juggalo would love to see that page. So maybe you can post it in the comment section after the show, and then you guys can just copy and paste it into Facebook.
Okay.
And then Laura Gianetta says, to trust non-understandable can be understood at the right time.
That aha moment.
I feel like for myself, trying to, let's see, let me reread the question. How do we accept things that we don't understand? I feel like is meet it where are you? First, you may not understand what's happening around you, but you should try to get to know what's happening inside of you. So how does this experience make me feel? Why does it make me feel that way? What is the best outcome if I lean into this experience? And what is the worst outcome? And then also ask yourself, why am I resisting this experience? Because there might be within asking, there might be some information in there for you that you didn't even realize was there. I like to meet things that I don't understand without placing a label on it, without creating a judgment towards it. I like to take that moment to ask questions. So if somebody's explaining something to me and I don't understand, I'm going to ask a question. When I'm in an environment that I've never been to, and I came here and people are doing all sorts of things that I've never done and I wouldn't think were normal. And instead of saying, well, that's not right, I'm like, okay, but why is this happening? So that's what I want to share about that particular question. System Juggalo says, will do. Fantastic. All right. So let's jump into the midweek collective energy check-in. And then Laurabeth's going to come back and add her thoughts on what the cards are for the midweek. And if this is your first time watching, this is a collective reading for all of you at home. So let's do the thing. But first, we're going to go to a commercial break.
Imagine a verdant paradise that stands as a convergence of worlds, a living temple of native wilderness, a place where the full potential of inherent human and earth magic can be seen, felt, and understood. A space that attracts the brightest and best of educators on the leading edge. A place of permaculture designed for the benefit of future generations.
Okay, starting off this midweek collective energy check-in, let's see what we have going on here. We have the first card is the Six of Water, and it says memories from your, I have to make this actually very big. Give me 1 second. Memories from your history or childhood, issues regarding children, and romanticizing the past. So are you living in the past? Are you worried about maybe tomorrow won't be as glorious as the past? Sometimes we like to look at the past with such fond eyes that we forget to not just be in the present, but we want to stay there. We feel like we're missing out. So this is about a little bit being nostalgic as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be a difficulty, but our next card is showing us what's going on. And it says, expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecy, sleepless nights. Okay, everyone, we got to make sure that we keep our head out of the past, because when we stay in the past too long, we actually create narratives that aren't true. They're based in illusion. Okay. So it's important to recognize where we are when we are. And suffering is a choice. We choose to feel what we choose to feel. Ultimately, what happens around us is not choice. Well, we can choose to be in a space, in a mental space, in an emotional space that's detracting from the blessings of the now moment. Speaking of the now moment, we have the Two of Fire here. You're coming into your own new partnerships or contracts. Continue to move forward. It's important to choose you, important to choose now, important to let go of the past and allow ourselves permission to be who we are, to generate traction, and to be motivated for what's to come. Okay. Letting go of the past does not detract from where you're coming from and what it has brought you. The past, it teaches us, but it doesn't tell you who you are. You tell you who you are at any given moment. And we have the Strength card here. Great inner strength. Release harsh judgments, forgiveness, and compassion. So it's very important to forgive ourselves and forgive people from the past for not showing up, for not fulfilling wishes, words, deeds. Okay. It takes a lot of strength to let go of things that no longer serve us, and releasing harsh judgments, releasing illusions, releasing stories, releasing pressure off of you of what should have, could have, would have. Let's put one more for this deck. And we have the Two of Earth. Too much going on at once, the need to make a decision. Consider a more playful approach. And I feel like what we're taking from this is making sure that we are in a state of balance with this Two of Earth energy, and allowing ourselves to look at life playfully, to not be so serious, to find the cosmic humor of things. Have you ever hit your funny bone and cried and laughed at the same time? Sometimes life can be like that. Okay. So here we have, right, accept struggles as lessons. So those things that may have been difficult in the moment, it's important to recognize the beauty, the blessings, the story, the real story, why it truly happened there. Letting go of ego is the next card here. Letting go of what you thought should be, could be, would have been. Okay. These are the stories that you create within yourselves, the ego stories. And then it says, love is your energy. We fall into that space of love, into that space of kindness, into that space of living life, to love life and loving the life that we're living. It's going to allow you to embody that energy of love. Okay. And when we embody that energy of love, we attract love. Appreciate your talents, appreciate yourself, appreciate what nature has given you by design. Sometimes we undervalue what we are bringing to the table. Oh, I can sing, but I can sing a little bit. Or I can draw, but I'm not an artist. Where are you limiting yourself from truly loving yourself? Because creating labels around, oh, I can draw, but I'm not an artist, is like saying, I can only love little. So be mindful of your words, all right? As long as you're doing things out of good intention and love, you're going to be attractive. I'm not saying good looking, but I mean attractive. You're going to attract more of that. The law of attraction is going to bring more of those things to love. And yeah, so that's what we have for that. I feel like the need to pull one more card. So let me do that from the Golden Girls Tarot deck here. I feel the need to pull one more card. So let's see. Okay, we have a flyer. And then right here we have Blanche Devereaux, if you've ever seen the Golden Girls. And it is the Devil card, which represents illusions, attachments, and things from the past that hold us back. Making sure that every part of our life that we feel like we are imprisoned within, or that we don't have choice, we actually indeed always have choice. You're not choiceless, okay? You just may be surrendering your power to something that is making the choice for you. So have that strength, fill your heart with love, and use love as your currency, as your energy. Let it emanate out of you by being authentic with it. So that's what I have for your midweek collective energy check-in. Let's bring Laurabeth back on and see if she wants to share anything about any of these cards. Okay, how are you feeling about this reading today? And do you want to share any of your own thoughts?
I did take some notes for my own thoughts. And I think it's pretty spot on with everything coming on, especially with us about to go into the Lion's Gates. And it's essentially like pre-hangover season for it. So these, if you actually look at your cards, you pretty much have what I call Captain Planet or Mother Earth, because we have all four elements. But to me, it seems like we are being called to be strong, to find our duality to completion, our harmony as well as our balance. And like Dominique says, the law of attraction, love, everything happens. If you think about it, the root of everything is not always evil. It's love that can cause evil and goodness, either the lack of or the abundance of. So like crime of passions, or lack of love, or complacent, or just homeostasis of love. With the Devil card, what are we so scared of to allow love to give us that strength to be Captain Planet, to be Mother Earth, to embrace these dualities and balances? And that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, with love, those crimes of passion, they aren't love. They are dysfunctional programs. Love is not an energy that hurts. And I've heard people say, oh, love can be painful. Love is not painful. Attachment is painful. Being inauthentic is painful. That is where that comes from. The separation of love is painful. The idea that we project onto people that create what they mean to me in my world is painful. And I would love for you to touch base on what the Lion's Gate is, because there might be somebody out there watching right now that doesn't know what that is.
I'm not 100% sure. I'm not the go-to person, but I know that Lionsgate we're in Leo season, so roar. But it is August 8th. It's the 8th month, the 8th day. And this is when Orion's belt, I think Pluto, correct me if I'm wrong on the planets, and two other planets are in line. So all four of them are in alignment during this day. So it's kind of like when we have Mercury retrograde, we'll have pre-hangover and hangover, and then the real event. So on this day, this is supposed to be a new moon. So this is supposed to be a really great day for manifestations, releasing new beginnings, because we have that new moon and we have all these planets in alignment, and we're also in retrograde for Pluto as well as Chiron, which is healing. And we're going to be in those retrograde for Chiron until the end of December. But Lionsgate is the best day for the portal to be open for manifestations, self-love, self-awareness, and releasing. So 8/8.
Yeah, it's interesting because sometimes I know last year I missed it. And I was like, oh man, I wanted to do something for this day. So this time I definitely will do something here in Mandala Springs. And if you're in North Carolina, come to Mandala Springs. It is definitely an energy vortex here. There's a lot of things moving, a lot of things happening. We're having a conscious music festival coming up mid-August. And if you yourself want to work with me, you can email me at divineencounters@e360tv.com. Or if you have a story you want to share, you can also come on here and share that. Laurabeth, it was a pleasure finally bringing you on. We've been trying to do this for quite some time.
What, 3 years?
Yes.
3 years?
3 seasons. We've been trying to get you on here for 3 seasons, girl.
Wow.
So thank you so much for being here. You're loving light of energy and bliss. And I can't wait to see what you continue to do. And the world, the collective is grateful for your being. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And for all of you at home, let's figure out what I learned from Laurabeth today. Let me sit on that and I'm going to come back with my final thoughts.
Do you or someone you know experience something supernatural that has left a positive impact on yourself or the lives of others? Want to share your story on our show? Please email divineencounters@e360tv.com. And together, let's create divine experiences. And now, the Oracle's final thoughts con mucho amor.
So I feel like I want to share what I've learned from Laurabeth today. Is everybody's experience is so vastly different in this awakening. And I feel like from her prime examples, there were so many weird things that could have caused fear. But ultimately, what she did was she stopped resisting what she didn't know. And those people who didn't believe her, she learned how to become her own sovereign and recognize this is my truth. And no matter what other people believe or disbelieve in my sharing of that, I know that. And maybe these things were her way of coming back to home, her way of learning who she is, her way of finding herself. Because all of our paths are different. And there isn't just one. And there isn't just one right. And there isn't just one wrong. So it makes me recognize that even in our fingerprint, there's a uniqueness within it. So how is life any different? Our fingerprint on life, our DNA on life, our essence in life. It's vastly unique. So maybe the next time somebody comes around and sharing something with you that you just quite don't understand, maybe instead of labeling or needing to speak, we take a step back and hold space and just listen and be thankful that they chose us to share their energy and their time with. May you all go forward and create your own divine experience. But above all else, go in love, light, and wisdom to know thyself, love thyself, and remember the divine always has your back. See you Sunday with your horoscopes at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Ciao.
Everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels very much, just remember. Just remember. Just remember.